So yeah, in 2012, I was doing my MBA here and looking for a problem to solve, and ended up starting Sensible Spreader Technologies. Today, we are creating systems to help operators of winter road maintenance equipment and street sweeping operators move through infrastructure more systematically. But I'll give you the backstory on how we kind of came to be. So in 2012, I didn't even know that salt was really bad for anything other than ice and snow on the road surface. And somebody told me about the chloride impaired watersheds that we have in the state. We currently have about 50 chloride impaired watersheds, I believe, and it's a big problem. Chlorides are getting into drinking water quantities or supplies. It's rapidly corroding infrastructure, and had this idea that you could basically reduce the waste using GPS integrated with spreading systems. And that allowed me to get some traction through the Holloway competition, Idea to Product competition, as well as the Tech Out Challenge, all in 2012. And it's a big problem. About 18 million tons of salt are spread on U.S. roadways each year. That's a look at the big salt pile in Charlestown, Boston in the background. So winter 2012-2013, I was trying to get more traction. I applied through a National Science Foundation grant with the University of New Hampshire, and Kevin Gardner was a help there. We didn't get that. It was a STTR grant. Same thing with DOT. We did a Research Advisory Council submission. We didn't get that either. But going through that process, I was able to identify some key engineers and also teammates. And with the other support that we had gotten, we decided to try and build something. So in 2013, 2014, we ended up approaching a couple local municipalities and just offering them free equipment upgrades for their salt spreading fleet. And again, our initial aim was to create a fully automated salt spreading system. And we approached Manchester and Laconia. This is a look at the system that we built as our first product, if you will. And we didn't quite get there, but what we were able to do is we integrated a data logger in our spreader controller. And so we collected about 2 gigabytes of data, and we spent a lot of time going through the data post-season, and these are little data packets. So we looked at it, we graphed it, we did everything we could with the data, and we found that there was a need for operators to move through infrastructure more systematically. We saw that occasionally operators were missing roadways, and you can imagine trying to move through every road in town, plowing it in a snowstorm at night or something like that, and you can imagine how hard it can be for these operators. You can't really see it there, but that's probably one of the bigger problems that we also unveiled, which is the material overlap problem. So when you've got a grid type road pattern, these operators, and you've got one-way streets, these operators are going back over areas that they already applied material on, reapplying material in tight time durations, so essentially wasting it. And we saw that in pretty much every event that we looked at. And so what this means is, in addition to the additional salt that's getting into drinking water supplies and watersheds, it's also waste for the municipalities, and it really adds up. So what we decided to do is create a coverage indication system, and we kind of coined that term, essentially showing the operator where he's applied material, where he's plowed, where he's been, or where he's swept over a time duration, and then we share that information throughout the entire fleet in real time. So this past winter, we actually deployed some of these coverage indication systems. This is a look at an app that we did for a foreman up in Laconia. You can see 3 trucks all working together to systematically move through infrastructure during a winter event. And we have a suite of sensors that we're using, rotational rate sensors, angle sensing, proximity sensing, current sensing. And We've gotten into data reporting. I'm trying to move quickly. And this past summer, we actually started to really focus on street sweeping. And so you can see here a fleet of 3 trucks working together to sweep the streets of Brookline, Mass. More efficiently. And then, of course, web access being our last milestone. But please feel free to write down my email if you're interested in more information or an internship. We're trying to get onto the UNH campus for this winter. So thank you very much.